Hello everyone. Gametogenesis is a process of formation of gametes. Male gonads or testes and female gonads are called ovaries. So male gametogenesis is called as spermatogenesis and female gametogenesis is called as oogenesis. Hi students, today we are talking about male gametogenesis, spermatogenesis. So male gametogenesis or spermatogenesis starts after reaching puberty. So here this entire process involves hormones and their mechanism and how these hormones influence the formation of gametes. So to understand very clearly, so let us find out first how exactly the glands, what is the role of these glands and how hormones help in the process of gametogenesis. Right? So this is male gametogenesis, which is known as spermatogenesis. So which starts at puberty. So let's find out. So this is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is connected to the pituitary gland. This is adenohypophysis and as well as neurohypophysis. That's it. In detail about the glands, we'll be talking about these glands in endocrine system. Now, after reaching puberty, hypothalamus releases significant amounts of gonadotropin releasing hormones. So these gonadotropin releasing hormones through the portal veins reaches to the anterior pituitary. So anterior pituitary releases gonadotropins like luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormones. So the gland is present in the brain. So these hormones like your luteinizing and follicle stimulating hormones reach the testes through blood circulation. So fine. Now these hormones enter into the testes. So testes are male gonads which are the sites for spermatogenesis. So fine. In male gonads called testes, there are structures which are known as seminiferous tubules. This is a seminiferous tubule. This is also a seminiferous tubule. Now, in between the seminiferous tubules are present interstitial cells. We call them as Leydig cells, which are also known as interstitial cells. Now, this is seminiferous tubule, section of the seminiferous tubule, and in the seminiferous tubules, these are known as Sertoli cells. These are Sertoli cells. Now, in between the Sertoli cells, these are the cuboidal cells which are nothing but spermatogonia. So, spermatogonia or sperm mother cells. So, this is in brief about the seminiferous tubules and all. Now, let us find out how exactly these hormones play a role in the process. So, first, luteinizing hormone that is released from the pituitary reaches to the blood circulation and influence these interstitial cells which are known as Leydig cells. Now these cells secrete androgens. The principal androgen is testosterone. Now this testosterone acts on spermatogonia which is present between the two Sertoli cells. The spermatogonia is sperm mother cell. Now the sperm mother cell called spermatogonia undergo mitosis, resulting in the formation of several spermatogonia. For our convenience, let us take some of the spermatogonia are called spermatogonia type A and some are called as spermatogonia B. So spermatogonia A again go for the process called mitosis and keep on making spermatogonia. It's a continuous process. And others called spermatogonia B gets enlarged and transforms into a primary spermatocyte which is also a diploid cell. Now this primary spermatocyte undergo first meiosis called meiosis 1 and get transforms into a secondary spermatocyte. So number of secondary spermatocytes formed from one primary spermatocytes are 2 which are haploid cells. Now the secondary spermatocyte undergo meiosis 2, completes its meiosis 2 and becomes 4 spermatids. All 4 are haploid. So from one spermatogonia, one primary spermatocyte is formed, and from one primary spermatocyte finally 4 spermatids are formed. Now spermatids are heavier and they undergo maturation changes where the Golgi complex of the spermatid gets transformed into the acrosome, and the centriole of it will form axial filament and becomes tail. So spermatid gets transformed into spermatozoa, and this process of formation of spermatozoa or sperm from spermatid is called spermiogenesis. At this time, the spermatozoa is still attached to the Sertoli cells. Now it detaches from the Sertoli cell by process known as spermiation and enter into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, and from there it directs its way to the epididymis where the functional maturation of the sperm occurs. Fine. Next, look here. What is the role of this FSH? Now LH acts on Leydig cells, which makes this spermatogonia get transformed into finally sperm. That is, first spermatids are formed, later spermatid becomes spermatozoa. So what is the role of the FSH? Follicle stimulating hormone acts on Sertoli cells, and when it acts on Sertoli cells, it stimulates the Sertoli cells for formation of some factors. It forms several factors, and these several factors are responsible for conversion of spermatid into spermatozoa by process known as spermiogenesis. So the role of FSH is spermiogenesis. Not only this, Sertoli cells perform many other functions as well. So they make androgen binding protein, so which makes the testosterone highly concentrated, and they also form testis blood barrier. So many other functions they'll perform. So here the role of this FSH on the Sertoli cell is to produce certain factors which convert these spermatids into spermatozoa, which is a functional sperm. Next, so let us find out the structure of these spermatozoa. Spermatozoa are microscopic, and the entire spermatozoa is surrounded by plasma membrane, and spermatozoa has 4 different parts. This is head of the spermatozoa, this is the neck of the spermatozoa, this is the middle piece of spermatozoa, and this is the tail of the spermatozoa. Now head of the spermatozoa is with a haploid nucleus. Head is with haploid nucleus which has 22 autosomes plus 1 X or Y chromosome is present in its head, and anteriorly head has a projection or a cap which is called acrosome. Now acrosome has several lytic enzymes which are very important for fertilizing the ovum. They help in fertilization. They help in dissolving the membranes around the ovum, and they help in penetration of the spermatozoa into the ovum. Next, so this is the neck. Neck is present just below the head. Neck has 2 centrioles. One is the proximal centriole. One is the proximal centriole. Neck has a proximal centriole, and second, it has a distal centriole. And what is the role of this proximal centriole? Proximal centriole is involved in completion of second meiotic division in the secondary oocyte. So when oocyte is released, the secondary oocyte is released in female, that completes only meiosis 1. Meiosis 2 is not completed. Meiosis 2 will be completed only after the penetration of the sperm. So the proximal centriole helps in completion of second meiotic division in ovum. So it helps in the fertilization. It helps in the female for completion of second maturation division. Next, distal centriole. This part is the distal centriole. Now this distal centriole forms basal granule. From that basal granules arises axial filament. So guys, this is axial filament. Now this axial filament passes through the middle piece and extends all along the length of the tail. This axial filament will form the flagella, which has 9+2 microtubular arrangement because it's an eukaryotic flagella. Next, this is the middle piece. Middle piece is with several mitochondria. Now, these mitochondria provide energy, ATP, required for the movement of the tail. So that facilitates the motility of spermatozoa. So mitochondria provides energy. So middle piece is the actual energy giving part of the spermatozoa, which provides energy for the movement. Next, at the junction of the middle piece and also tail, you can see there is a ring centriole. This is also known as Jensen's ring. The exact function of this is not known, but some believe that this particular centriole prevents the entry of mitochondria into the tail region. Next, tail is the longest part of the spermatozoa. So tail is responsible for motility or movement of spermatozoa. So axial filament extends all along the tail and it continues beyond the tail. So in human ejaculation, a healthy male ejaculates 200 to 300 million sperms. Out of these, at least 60% sperm should have good structure and shape to fertilize the ovum, and also 40% sperms should have motility rate to reach the ovum or secondary oocyte. Guys, that's all. This is about male gametogenesis called spermatogenesis. Please give a like, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications.